everyone, I'm Sandrine here on Happy Cool and welcome to my final review for Banshee this season. Wow. This episode was called Bullets and Tears. And they were tears, let me tell ya. Let's talk about it. First, some quick thoughts. Last week I mentioned that there was a woman with a rabbit head holding a gun in the opening sequence of the show. In this week's opening sequence, there was that same woman with the rabbit head and her gun shooting a man with a rabbit head, which represents Carrie shooting rabbits. I thought it was kind of cool. And those are all my quick thoughts. I know, it's really quick thought. Not S, because there's only one. And the reason is because there's so much to talk about that there are no quick anything in this week's episode. So let's jump right into it and talk about the Rabbit Showdown. I thought it was interesting that they used the events that happened 15 years ago in parallel with what was happening today. I enjoyed finding out that Anna and Hood were supposed to become Carrie and Tom Palmer. And I think it was really funny that she's like, it's gonna take some getting used to. What a difference 15 years makes, right? We also found out because of the meeting with Fat Al that Hood was in some sort of army. And if you watch the Banshee Origins, the interrogation scene that I mentioned last week, that is explained even further because the cop interrogating Hood thinks he has some special forces training and he thinks he might be like a spook or a mercenary. So that would explain how he's so good at fighting. I hope we get to explore that a little more in future seasons because I really like to know where he comes from. Kind of going off of that, sneaking into the church made me think of Strike Back, how they kind of go in places, which I guess would make sense if he had a similar type of training as they did. It was pretty damn cool how they got into that church. And we get into the emotional part of the episode because when Hood tells Carrie that he's out of ammunition, I started to get emotional when Hood tells Carrie to leave because he knew that he was sacrificing himself yet again so she would lead a happy life and there's no way he's gonna get out alive. I mean, part of me was like, he has to survive, he's the main character. But another part of me was like, well, does he? I mean, maybe they're just gonna kill him off. And then when he comes out and all the other guys start getting shot and you see Job and Fat Al come in and clean it out, I got so teary. Guys, I never thought that I would be crying so much over a shootout in a movie. You're supposed to be more like, yeah, in those kind of moments, but I was like, oh, they came to rescue him, oh my God. So it started there. I'm already gone at this point. And while that was really emotional, I love that they added some comedy to it with Fat Al being like, you're fucked in the head. Like, I almost didn't shoot just to see you try and survive this. I mean, what the hell? I actually laughed through my tears. Like, this is funny. I really like Fat Al. He is funny and a cool guy. I hope he's gonna be more involved next season. And we get to Rabbit sitting on a bench. I gotta say, when he asked them to sit down with him, I was like, don't sit down, don't sit down, just shoot him while he's here. He could get away, something could happen, don't waste any time, just do it. What I did not expect was that he would be the one taking his own life. Now, only Banshee can do this and throw a twist like that. It's quite poetic, actually. Kind of a beautiful and satisfying ending to Rabbit. And that leads to more tears from me during the drive back to Banshee. Holy crap. This is where the flashbacks kind of got to me. I mean, when you see them driving and you also see that cut to him being in prison and all of that. Oh. But of course, the end of Rabbit was not the end of everything in Banshee. So let's talk about some of the cliffhangers for this season, which were crazy. First off, I so want Hood and Carrie to end up together. I mean, they had such an amazing journey and every time they're together, it's just, come on, they're soulmates. And as much as I love Siobhan, it's just gotta be Carrie for me. Daiva, I think we can all agree that when she goes to see Hood, that was crazy. And I hate that that's when they end this episode, or sort of. They put the Banshee logo. I was like, oh! And let's talk about Rebecca. First I thought, okay, so she's teaming up with Alex. And then she pulled the gun. So she picked Proctor. And when she tells him that she killed Alex for him, I'm not sure I know how he feels. I think he's very conflicted about this, as he should be. But all I know is something is happening between these two next season. Can't wait to see it. Job decided to stay in New York for a while, but I'm hoping that doesn't mean we won't see him in season 3 because I really want him to be back. I think he will be back. And now on to probably the saddest and most tragic part of the episode, Emmett. I think the guy did not get a break this whole season. And you know, when I saw him and his wife, I knew it. I knew something was gonna happen. I was like, oh, why are we seeing them? Why are we seeing them trying to leave town? This is not good. Oh my God, it's not gonna end well. Oh, something's gonna happen. When that truck pulled up, I was like, they're dead. Why? Why? First of all, I'm like, oh, he should have killed them all. And second of all, I hope Hood goes after them next season. Finally, the end of it all, Chayton is coming back to Banshee. And while I'm excited to see the character back, I'm pretty worried about Hood. And thus ends another season in the little town of Banshee. It was quite a ride. It ended beautifully. It definitely sets us up for season 3. I can't wait. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I'm gonna be thinking about this for a few days, I think, because it was just so emotional and crazy and draining. So those were all my thoughts. But I'd love to hear from you guys and what you thought of this finale. Are you excited for season 3? Are you satisfied with the way things ended? Let me know. And make sure to subscribe to Happy Cool if you haven't yet, because even though Banshee is over, I am still reviewing Teen Wolf, and I will be reviewing Game of Thrones starting in April. So that's gonna be exciting. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye! They should do like a Banshee Strike Back crossover. Turns out Hood was part of Section 20. What?